Welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and collectible coins from around the globe. Today, we're taking a closer look at an Australian classic, the 1976 20-cent coin. Whether you're a passionate collector, a curious hobbyist, or just someone who loves discovering hidden treasures in everyday change, this video is for you. So, stick around until the end, because we're going to cover the history, design, mintage, conditions, and the real market value of this coin, and you might be surprised how much it's worth. Australia introduced the 20-cent coin in 1966, replacing the old pre-decimal system of shillings and pence when the country moved to decimal currency. The coin was designed as part of a brand new series of decimal coins, ranging from the 1 cent to the 50-cent piece. By 1976, the coin had already become a common sight in the hands of Australians, used daily for buying groceries, newspapers, and snacks. The 20-cent coin was a significant denomination back then, carrying much more purchasing power than it does today. The front of the 1976 20-cent coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This version of the Queen's portrait was used from 1966 up until 1984 on Australian coinage. It's an elegant design that collectors still admire. The reverse design features the beautiful and distinctive platypus swimming through rippling water, created by designer Stuart Devlin. The platypus is an iconic Australian animal, symbolizing the country's unique wildlife. Devlin's artwork gives the coin its instantly recognizable look and has made it a collector's favorite. The 1976 Australian 20-cent coin has the following specifications: metal composition ** 75% copper and 25% nickel, diameter ** 28.65 mm, weight ** 11.3 grams, edge ** milled, or reeded. It's a solid coin with a distinct silvery look, often mistaken for silver by beginners, but in reality, it's a copper-nickel alloy. Now, here's an important fact for collectors. The mintage in 1976, the Royal Australian Mint produced around 81 million of these 20-cent coins. That's quite a large number, which means they're not exactly rare in circulated condition. However, what makes them interesting is their survival rate in high grades and uncirculated condition. Finding a pristine coin from 1976 is much harder than finding a worn one in your pocket change. So, what's the value of the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin today in circulated condition, which is most common? These coins are generally worth 20 cents to $1 AUD, depending on wear. In better grades, fine to extremely fine condition, collectors might pay between $2 to $5 AUD. In uncirculated condition, meaning coins that were never used and kept in mint state, values can range from $10 to $25 AUD. And here's where it gets exciting. A coin graded as high-end uncirculated or in proof-like condition by professional grading services could fetch anywhere from $50 to over $100 AUD, especially if it's a flawless example with full mint luster. Several factors determine the value of your 1976 20-cent coin. 1. Condition. Grade. As with all coins, the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins with scratches, wear, or tarnishing won't bring much. 2. Mint errors **. Always check for minting errors. Off-center strikes, double strikes, or missing details can significantly boost a coin's value. Rare error coins from the 1970s have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars. 3. Collector demand **. The 1976 coins are part of the early decimal era of Australian currency, so they attract both domestic and international collectors. 4. I appeal **. A shiny, well-struck coin with minimal marks is always more desirable than a dull, heavily circulated one. If you're hunting for a 1976 Australian 20-cent coin, check old coin jars, thrift stores, and coin dealers. Always look at the details. A sharp queen's crown or clear platypus details usually means the coin hasn't seen much circulation. For serious collectors, it's always worth considering professional grading to maximize the coin's potential resale value. So, there you have it. The 1976 Australian 20-cent coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions, it can be worth far more than its face value. Whether you're holding onto one as a keepsake or planning to add it to your coin collection, this little piece of history is definitely worth appreciating. To truly understand the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin, we need to look back at Australia's history of money and coinage. Before 1966, Australia used the imperial currency system inherited from Britain: pounds, shillings, and pence. The system was complicated. 12 pence made a shilling, and 20 shillings made a pound. By the 1950s, there was a growing movement to simplify this outdated system, especially since many other countries, like New Zealand and South Africa, were beginning to adopt decimal currency. Finally, in 1966, Australia took a historic step and introduced decimal currency. This meant the pound was replaced by the Australian dollar, which was divided into 100 cents. A whole new set of coins was born: 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 20 cent, and 50-cent pieces. The 20-cent coin became one of the most important denominations, filling the gap between small change and higher value coins. The design of these new coins was entrusted to Stuart Devlin, an Australian artist who later became known as the designer of the nation's coins. He was tasked with creating designs that represented Australia's culture and unique wildlife. For the 20-cent piece, Devlin chose the platypus, an extraordinary animal found only in Australia. The platypus is a symbol of Australia's natural heritage, part mammal, part bird-like with its bill, and part aquatic creature. By putting it on the coin, Devlin created an image that was instantly recognizable and distinctly Australian. Now, let's move to the year 1976 itself. The mid-1970s were a time of political and economic change in Australia. Just the year before, in 1975, the country went through a major constitutional crisis that led to the dismissal of Prime Minister Gough Whitlam. In 1976, Malcolm Fraser was Prime Minister, and the country was adjusting to new leadership. Inflation was a growing issue, and coins like the 20-cent piece had significant purchasing power. In fact, with a single 20-cent coin in 1976, you could buy a loaf of bread, a bus ticket, or even a newspaper and still have change left over. On the obverse side of the coin, Australians saw the familiar face of Queen Elizabeth II, as designed by Arnold Machin. This was the official portrait of the Queen used on coins throughout many Commonwealth nations from the mid-1960s to the mid-1980s. It reflects Australia's continued connection to the British monarchy, even as the nation developed its own identity. Another important historical aspect is the minting scale. The Royal Australian Mint in Canberra was responsible for producing millions of these coins to meet the everyday needs of Australians. In 1976, the Mint struck over 81 million 20-cent coins, ensuring that nearly every household had them in circulation. Even though that seems like a huge number, very few have survived today in pristine, untouched condition, and those are the coins that collectors value the most. The 20-cent coin also tells a story about technology and minting progress. In the early years of decimal currency, the Royal Australian Mint was modernizing its machinery and production methods. By 1976, coin minting was far more efficient and consistent, but occasional mint errors still slipped through. Some error coins from the 1970s have since become highly collectible, with off-center strikes or misaligned designs fetching hundreds of dollars. Lastly, the 1976 20-cent coin reflects the everyday culture of its time. Think about it. This was the era before electronic payments, debit cards, or digital wallets. Coins and notes were the backbone of the economy. Pocketfuls of change, including 20-cent coins, jingled in people's pockets as they went to work, school, or shopping. This humble coin played a part in everyday life, making it a silent witness to the stories, struggles, and triumphs of Australians in the 1970s. When it comes to the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin, condition is everything. Two coins with the same mintage year can have completely different values, simply based on their condition. Let's break this down step by step. Most 1976 20-cent coins that you'll find today will be in circulated condition. That means they've been used for decades, passed through countless hands, dropped into cash registers, kept in pockets, purses, and piggy banks. Next, we move up to coins in fine to very fine condition. These coins have circulated but were better preserved. In fine condition, you can still see the major design features, but they may look soft or flat. In very fine condition, more detail remains, such as the ripples in the water behind the platypus, or the strands of hair on the Queen's portrait. These coins typically range in value from $1 to $3 AUD, depending on market demand. Coins graded extremely fine are much more appealing to collectors. At this grade, most details are visible and sharp. Only the highest points of the design, such as the platypus's body or the Queen's crown, may show slight wear. The coin still has a decent shine, though it may not be as bright as it once was when newly minted. These coins can fetch between $4 and $7 AUD, sometimes more if they have strong eye appeal. Now we're entering premium territory. Coins in about uncirculated AU condition show only the faintest signs of wear, often on the highest relief points. They may still have most of their original mint luster, the natural shine from the minting process. Small scratches or contact marks from storage may exist, but they are minor. These coins are highly desirable among collectors because they are close to perfect but much more affordable than fully uncirculated examples. In AU condition, values can range between $8 and $15 AUD. This is where the 1976 20-cent coin becomes truly collectible. Uncirculated coins are those that were never used in commerce. They went straight from the mint into storage or collectors' hands. These coins display full original mint luster, that shiny, frosty finish you see under direct light. There should be no wear on the high points of the design. The queen's hair, the crown, and the platypus details should be crisp and sharp. Only small bag marks, tiny scratches from coins bumping into each other at the mint, may be visible. In this condition, values can range from $15 to $25 AUD, sometimes even higher depending on the buyer. For serious collectors, grading by professional services such as PCGS or NGC is the ultimate way to determine condition. Coins are given a mint state, MS, grade on a scale from 60 to 70. An MS 60 coin is uncirculated but may have noticeable marks or dull luster. MS 63 to MS 65 coins are choice uncirculated with good eye appeal and very few distractions. MS 66 and above are gem quality coins, nearly flawless, with brilliant shine and sharp strike. A 1976 Australian 20-cent coin graded MS 65 or higher can command premium prices, sometimes exceeding $50 to $100 AUD, especially if it's slabbed by a reputable grading company. While not released for circulation in 1976, proof sets sometimes included a 20-cent coin. Proof coins are specially struck with polished dies and blanks, giving them a mirror-like finish. These coins are struck for collectors, not for everyday use. A proof 1976 20-cent coin can be significantly more valuable, ranging from $30 to $80 AUD or more, depending on condition and packaging. Another important factor is error coins. Sometimes, coins leave the mint with mistakes, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double strikes. These coins are rare and highly sought after. A genuine error 1976 20-cent coin could be worth hundreds of dollars, depending on the error type and visibility. Also, don't underestimate eye appeal. Two coins of the same grade can have very different prices if one is shinier, brighter, or has better toning. Collectors love coins with attractive luster or natural rainbow toning. As you can see, the condition of a 1976 Australian 20-cent coin makes all the difference. A worn, circulated coin might only be worth its face value, but a pristine uncirculated or proof coin could be worth many times more. That's why collectors spend so much time learning how to grade coins accurately.